Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Today I'm going to be continuing on with painting the orcs that I've been working on. So this is the fifth one out of the 5 that I've started with. And part of the experiment was to also test to see what the different types of primers. I used 5 different colored primers for these. And I just wanted to see what the finished product is going to look like depending on what kind of primer I used. So this is the final 5th one. This one I used the black primer as a starting point, and then I also did a little bit of I sprayed a little bit of white primer from above to create almost like a highlight from the top. So I'm going to continue on with painting this bad boy right here. And how old are your dogs? Yeah. The males try to always establish being alpha. That's cool that you got brother and sister. We had, in addition to the 2 dogs that we have, we also have 2 cats and their 2 sisters, and they couldn't be any more different. They're from the same litter, and they look similar when they were little babies, but they're totally different now. They look different, they act different. Alright, time to switch over to Rhinox hide. A couple of years, that's cool. Were they puppies when you got them? That's cool. I love dogs. I think they're awesome. I mean, yes, they are a responsibility, but I think they bring so much joy into people's lives. It's awesome. Late night Walmart sale litters? What in the world is that? Hey Chase, how's it going? Oh, people selling the puppies in the parking lot. They have puppies and they go there. And as the shoppers are walking in, everyone's like, "Aw, look at those cute puppies." And then you end up buying them? Is that what you mean? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my wife and I went to, we were at a mall a few months ago, and we made the mistake of walking into a pet store there, and they had quite a few dogs there actually, and they had this Akita there. We almost walked out buying it, but then we're like, no, come on, we already have 2 dogs, 2 cats. Yeah, any kind of dog is awesome. Mine are both labs. I used to have an Akita Shepherd mix, and I had I've had a Golden Retriever, and I've also had a Border Collie. They were all awesome dogs. So Chase, did you pick your army yet? Oh, Great Danes, those things are huge. Yeah, it's relaxing to paint as well. It's actually one of the reasons I got so addicted to it. It's like I just find it like I can actually get my mind to shut off for a while and just relax. It's just like meditation, but instead of just sitting there in a room trying not to think of anything, you're actually painting something. And I find it easier. I find it easier to kind of like just zone out. Thanks, I'm gonna do one more layer, one more thin layer of that Mornfang brown. As it's still just a little bit, I'm seeing a little bit of a see-through on that, like right there. I'm seeing the white and the black primer underneath. So I just want to make that a little bit Thanks, Canberras. I love painting orcs. They're fun. And they're actually a pretty good army to, if you're just learning how to paint. I think it's a good army. I hate it when I do that. I think it's a good army to start with, or one of the good armies to start with, because it's a pretty high model count for the army, which means that you'll get to paint more models for the same amount of points in the game. Like if you get 500 points of orcs in the game, it'll be more models than, let's say, 500 points of Space Marines, or 1,000 points of orcs will be more models than 1,000 points of Space Marines, because the models are, I guess you could say, they're lower point costs, which means individually they're weaker, but they're stronger in a group, or I guess the same strength in a group or similar strength in a group. So like if you get like a starter set of Space Marines, you know, there might be like, I don't know, 10 Space Marines in the box. You get a starter set of orcs, it'll be like 30 or something. So the benefit of that is you get to practice more. So you can paint. You have more models to practice, and usually they're similar price, so you're getting more models per dollar spent. I find it's the other army that's similar, or that's kind of like that, is Tyranids, which is like you get even more models than the orcs. So I know a lot of people start with Space Marines as their first army, but Space Marines are like some of the highest point cost per miniature, so you don't really get to practice a lot painting a Space Marine army, at least not compared to something like Orks or Tyranids. But then if you don't like painting and you just want to build a fast army, then exact opposite would be true. You want to pick, or you could pick an army that has a low model count. Caliban green, yep, there it is. Always ready to strike. The Dark Angels planted it here to spy on me. Part of their shadow tactics.
Those nights when we were younger, and we would never sleep.
Balthazar Gold. What you mean like it's like a main color, or just like for a few things here and there? Like what do you paint gold? Do you use like, do you make like the whatever it's called, the eagle crest? Or that front part right there with the skull? Is that what you make gold? Trim and feathers, nice. I think I just picked up some of that gold. Let's retribute your armor. What's this one? Could have sworn that I just picked up that gold that you're talking about. Oh, duh, it's right there. I'll put it right next to Caliban green. I better move it away from my orcs though. A fight might break out. My favorite color is painting with like silvers, like lead belcher and the what's the other one called? Runefang steel. I just love how they cover. Although I don't think I've tried Balthasar Gold much. I think I did a little bit of it. But the old golds didn't cover that well. But I think the new ones are much better, right? Like the ones that recently came out. Well, recently, I guess. It's been a while now, but when Age of Sigmar came out, they released a few different golds and re-released some of the other ones, and I think they improved them a lot. Dark Talon. That's like the, what do you call it? Little ship for the Dark Angels, right? I think there's the Raven Wing or something. Is it Dark Talon the other version of it? I know my nephew has the Dark Angels, and I think that was the name of that ship that he has. Still getting used to painting with the camera here. I ordered a slightly different mount for my camera. It was supposed to be here last week, but our postal service is, I believe, on strike right now, so the Amazon orders that I normally get, they're using another courier company, and they really suck at delivering packages. There's been a delay after delay after delay, and it's been over a week now. I was supposed to get everything last week, but hopefully I'll get it tomorrow and I can test out a few different camera angles. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's the same kit though, right? Like when you buy the kit, it gives you the two options and you can build it either one or the other. Am I thinking of the same one? Okay, then I know exactly which one you're talking about. I got that kit for my nephew for Christmas last year, and I remember us looking at it. We ripped open the box and we were checking it out, and I told him he has to like research and figure out which one, which variation he wants to build. It's funny because my painting is so different than Micho's. Like I'm basically just ripping through these models because I'm basically just doing tabletop quality painting here, and I'm getting back into painting, so I just want to go fast and get them done. Whereas he's focusing, like, his stuff is just incredibly highly detailed. He spends a lot of time on everything, so I would imagine the experience is a little bit different watching the two different streams. I actually record my streams and I upload them to YouTube as well. So I was actually watching one of my streams the other day. Not all of it, but just watch for maybe 10-15 minutes. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like just seeing the painting is kind of engaging, and then I want to paint that bullet right there. I'm going to paint it gold. Actually, I might switch. I might do that in a few seconds here. I find watching any painter kind of like that, like really relaxing. But I think because I'm painting the models only to tabletop quality, and because I'm going faster, it's almost like when I was watching my own stream, I was kind of like almost more mesmerized, I guess, just because like seeing it happen faster. Not that there's anything wrong with you know, painting to a high level detail. You can definitely learn a lot from that, but it's just different. It's a different experience, I find. It's like it's like watching Kenny's stream when he does his airbrushing. It's different from watching brushwork. Well, you know, I guess everybody has their own kind of style of painting and their own philosophies that you kind of develop over time. And everyone's miniatures kind of have a different feel and look to them. For me personally, I find that I like using washes, and I like making my models look dirty and not so perfect and clean. Because to me it seems like if these guys are in battle, they should be dirty, they should be muddy, they should be you know, looking like they're kind of covered in mud, and just like a real soldier would look like in a hand-to-hand battle type of thing. You know, you're chopping people up with axes and stuff like that. And if your armor has, you know, not a spot of dirt on it, or you know, it doesn't look like it's been, it looks like it was pressed and ironed and looks perfect, and it kind of looks weird to me. But it's totally fine. I mean, other people, I'm not saying that other styles don't look good. It's just for me, with my miniatures, I like having them dirty. So if I splattered a bunch of wash on that dreadnought and it looked muddy, I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. So what's dynamism? I think I might know what you mean, but Ultra Smurfs? That's awesome. I wonder if Jabil's still on the stream. Jabil, are you still on the stream? Because if you are, I'm going to be calling your Ultramarines Ultra Smurfs from now on. So if I, okay, so it's funny because I see what you're saying, but I'm still confused as to which one would be like, making a model look badass over realistic. So like, for example, for me, if I like to have my models more dirty, like they've been through battle, would that make them look badass, or would that be realistic? Okay, cool. So now I get what you're saying. Yeah. That makes sense. And I might paint some of my models in that way as well. Like, like if I was painting, let's say Eldar or something, I would probably paint them that way. Like, see, I'll show you my. This is an old. This one is like it's even dusty. I gotta clean off the dust off of this thing. But see, like this Blood Angel that I painted. Like, to me, I painted like the wash on it makes it look dirty. I mean, besides the fact that it's actually dusty, because I didn't have these protected in a cabinet. I left them out, I forgot, and they actually got dusty. But you see, like, the armor has like chunks right there and right there. So this would be more like, I should probably leave the dust, now it's even more realistic. So this would be, I guess, an example of like a realistic model over dynamic. But for me, with like orcs, I don't know. I just want to. I want it to kind of look dirty. Although I guess this one, I don't know. Does this one look? I don't know. Maybe I'm somewhere halfway in between those two. Hey Jeremy, how's it going? Yeah, a lot of the models that I'm doing well, Jeremy. A lot of the models, I think, when I start painting my whatchamacallit, my Infinity models, I'll probably try to learn how to paint more dynamically like that, like make them really clean and sharp and really nice looking, because I think they would lend well to that. Part of it also is I'm still a total noob, so I'm learning, and like you guys mentioned, when you use a wash, it actually it's like easy sauce, making the miniature look a lot better than it actually, or making your painting skills look better than they actually are. Yeah, Grindler is awesome. Hey Jeremy, thanks for this follow. Welcome to our stream. You've activated the Dancing Borat. Oh, nice. Which one is it? Is it that what is it, 30th anniversary Space Marine? the anniversary mern, yeah. I was watching him a little bit earlier today, painting that. It's looking amazing. It's hard to believe that he was saying that he's only really been painting for like, I think 16 months or something. I guess that's what happens when you practice consistently and get better and better. Yeah, he did the dwarf thing. Disappeared before you can paint him. How did that happen? Where did he disappear to? Your interrogator chaplain's backpack made it disappear. Alright, I'm gonna try out this Balthasar gold. Interrogating some heretics, eh? Like this guy here. I tried this Balthasar gold on this little bullet that this guy has as an earring. Well, it definitely covers a lot nicer, a lot better than some of the old gold colors that GW had. Hey Matster, you got an army of Tyranids? What kind of colors did you paint them? Tyranids are one army that I don't have any models of yet. And if I ever do get some, I saw a picture somewhere on the internet of somebody who did a Tyranids army, and it's this just massive swarm, and it was painted black, like a shiny black, with like yellow stripes that made them look almost like hornets, and they just looked so badass that it almost made me want to run to the store and get a Tyranid army right there on the spot and paint them like that. They just looked amazing. Like, Tyranids to me are kind of like, I mean, from the painter side, like, to me they're like, I don't know if I'd like painting them. They're okay, but they kind of remind me like those creatures from Spaceship Troopers, that old movie Spaceship Troopers, or like spiders or something. They just look kind of creepy. But when I saw those black and yellow painted ones, oh, it's just like creeps you out just looking at them. And I think it'd be awesome if I had like a huge swarm of them painted up and in my display case, and people would come in and look at it and it would just creep them out. Because it's like, it totally reminds me of like a wasp or something. I'm just like Micho, the way I hold my models. I don't have like a holder of any type. I just hold them this way. I tried like mounting them on a painting pot before, a few other things. I don't know, I just didn't like it. How about you guys? Do you like mount them on a cork or something, or do you just paint them like this?
See your face in the crowd, but you don't seem so far away. The only thing between us is empty space, empty space. Even when the music is loud, I'd rather be no other place than here with you now, here with you now.
The Company Masters? I gotta Google that because I don't remember what they look like. Yeah, those look pretty cool. Yeah, those are neat looking models. You hold them in your hands too, eh? That's cool. I'm gonna test something out here. Still learning how to make my yellows look better. What I did this time is I did a base layer with Screaming Skull. And I think this yellow is going to look a lot better. Oh yeah, the hooded robes are cool. I really like that too. Yeah, I'm still learning how to actually play the game. I've mainly just been painting. But definitely gonna start learning how to play. And part of the challenge that I've had is just with my work schedule, I just haven't had time to it's really hard for me to find time to go to like a gaming store and play. But I just got a few of my friends and my sister into the game, so we're all building out armies, and then we're gonna start playing, so we can actually play at my house or at my friend's house or my sister's house, so we can actually learn. And hopefully I can make some time soon to play a lot more. That's actually one of the reasons I want to get these orcs painted up and painted up fast, so I have an army that I can start playing and actually learn to play the game. Because I have a bunch of different armies started, but I want to learn how to play the game a bit more, and then I'll play with the orcs, and then I'll learn how to play the game, and then I'll kind of look at the different armies that I've started and figure out which one I think would be the best one for me to actually build out like a much bigger army, and then I'll start doing that. As a painter, I like having a bunch of different armies, but as a player, I want to focus on, you know, maybe one army, maximum two, and just get really good at playing that specific army. Hey there, call me Chaz. Any tips for somebody wanting to get into building and painting side? Well, let me think. Probably the best tip would be to, yeah, exactly. Pick an army that that you think would be. Hey, how do you pronounce that? Naftalid. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. Probably the best advice I would say is to, well, here's what I did, and this is what I've done with my friends too. And nowadays you can go on the website and look at it, but when I first started with Warhammer 40k, I literally walked into one of the stores. I just happened to have a Games Workshop store close to my house, so walked into a Games Workshop store, and I had a small starter set of Warhammer Fantasy at that time, but I was looking to get into Warhammer 40k. Walked into a store and looked across the shelves, and I looked for an army that looked good to me. I didn't care about the points values, I didn't care about how the army plays. I just looked, okay, what looks good to me, and I just picked the first one that kind of stood out to me, and I bought that army. And then I went from there. I think it's important to, and I did the same thing with my buddy. We looked at a few different options, and then he was actually going to build a Astra Militarum army, or Imperial Guard, or whatever. And then we went to the store, and he saw a starter set for the Tau army, and he was like, whoa, these look so cool. And so he just bought that because to him they looked amazing. And I think if you're going to be building and painting, it's important to paint something that when you finish painting, because you're going to invest a lot of time and energy to learning how to paint and painting the thing. And I think it's important for once you're finished to be sitting there looking at it and going, wow, this looks amazing. And a lot of that is, the models themselves. Obviously, your painting skills are part of that as well. But, if you don't like the way the model looks, I mean, it doesn't matter how well you paint it, it's still not going to look good to you. So I would pick a model that that looks good to you. And Games Workshop now has all these new sets. They're called Getting Started, like Getting Started Orks, Getting Started with Space Marines. Pretty much every army, they have a starter set now called Getting Started. Start Collecting. That's what it's called. Start Collecting. Do I have one of the boxes here? It's in the other room. I think they're called Start Collecting, and then Space Marines, Orks, whatever. And those are a great deal usually, because the models, if you were to buy those models separately, you'd pay a lot more for them. It's about, I would say, maybe 30-40% discount for the set you get. And then you'll get a bunch of models in there that you'll get to practice with. And the only other thing I would say is to just be really kind to yourself with and be patient with your skills. Because one thing that's, there's so many, like when I got started, there really wasn't that big of a presence on the internet with this stuff. And nowadays there's a huge presence on the internet. But one of the challenges is that people tend to, they'll paint 50 models or 100 models, and they won't post any pictures of that online because they suck. And then once they get good at painting, then they start posting all their best models. And so when you look at all these people painting and you're like, wow, that looks amazing, and then you try to paint, and in the beginning you probably aren't gonna, be that great at painting, you can start to get this idea that, oh man, I really suck at this. But in reality, everybody sucks in the beginning. And it takes a while to get good at it. So don't expect your models to look, professionally painted on your first model. And that's actually, it's funny because that's pretty much what I did with my Orks. I bought a starter set that was, this was my second set after the first army I bought. But I bought Space Marines and Orks, and I bought the set for the Space Marines, but there was Orks in there, and I said, okay, well, I'm just going to use these Orks to practice my painting skills, because there's so many of them in there. And then I just started painting them, and I didn't really care. I'm like, whatever, I don't care if they look bad. I tried to make them look good, but I was also aware of the fact that, my painting skills I'm just a beginner at that time. So I just decided to start painting and, do my best and don't really worry too much what they look like. And, to me, I don't think they turned out too bad. But it's like one of those things where you just have to practice. Yeah, the Start Collecting sets are awesome. They never had those before. Well, they had different stuff throughout the years, but the Start Collecting sets are pretty good. That's what this Ork that I'm holding here, he's from a Start Collecting Ork set that I picked up. Even though I already had a bunch of other Orks. I also picked up a Start Collecting whatchamacallit, Dark Eldar recently, because I wanted to paint some of those for a while, and when they came out I'm like, So I bought that set, but it's still pretty much sitting in the box. I haven't had time to... I've been focusing on getting the Orks done first, and then I'll work on the Eldar. I also got the start collecting greenskins, which is the Age of Sigmar. Basically Orks, but for Age of Sigmar instead of Warhammer 40k. Those are all built behind me in that shelf. I have not started painting them yet.
Sunlight begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time. But I don't know
Suggest I thin my paints more,
here.
like what I'm doing right now with this yellow, for example. Is that what you mean? Dark Vengeance, yeah, that's the starter set I got with my nephew too.
I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat.
I've always used Citadel paints, the ones from GW. I've never used Vallejo yet. I did pick up this set of when I got an airbrush. I haven't learned how to use it yet, but when I got my airbrush, I picked up this set. It was on sale from Minotaur. These are like airbrush paints. They've already been thinned down. These are pretty cool paints too, but oh, okay. Yeah, the only thing with using the GW paints, and again, this all depends on people's situation, but for my friends that I'm getting into, is, I guess, again, it depends on the situation, but if you're learning how to paint using some of the videos that Games Workshop puts out, and their videos are pretty good at teaching some of the basics, it is kind of cool to have, you know, if they tell you like, okay, use this color to as the base, and then, you know, use this one to layer on and highlight or whatever. And if you just buy those specific colors, just like they show in the tutorial, and you follow along, you can kind of learn that way. Whereas if you're getting like paints from, you know, pretty much anywhere else, you'd have to kind of figure out, you know, which colors would match up best. So it all depends what you want to do. Hey Grendler, how's it going? Yeah, there's definitely resources. Probably the best, if you're gonna buy GW models, right? If let's say you're gonna buy an Ork army, they actually have a specific painting guide just for Orks, and they also have videos. There's like, I think it's called Warhammer TV. It's a YouTube channel, and you can go and you can watch, like, I don't know if they have every single army done yet, but they have some painting videos for like how to paint basic models. But really, I think honestly the best thing is just to buy the supplies, buy a few paints, buy a couple brushes, buy some models, and just start practicing, start painting, and then like paint a little bit, and then go watch some, you know, tune into some of these live streams, or watch some YouTube videos, and then learn a little bit, then paint a little bit, then learn a little bit, and paint a little bit, and just keep practicing that way. Because sometimes people get too stuck in like trying to you know, learn everything before they even pick up a paintbrush, and it's almost impossible to do that. You have to kind of just get out there and test a few things and see where you run into problems, and then go find solutions to that. I'm doing well, Grendler. Just working on my orcs. Have you looked, Call Me Chats, have you looked at any of the armies? Like, are you leaning towards any specific army? Am I a pro gray primer now? Well, I've got 4 of these guys down. This is the 5th guy here, and once they're done, I'm gonna have a close look, and I'm gonna see if I can detect any real difference between any of them. Without having to look under a microscope, but I kind of have a feeling that there might not be that much of a difference based on the style of painting that I do, with the layers that I'm doing. But I could be wrong. But I have to say that actually painting the... Oh, thanks for the host, Grandler. Actually painting the models, I think I'm preferring the black primer and the gray primer. Those two. Like this one was... Oh, maybe not. Where was it? Let's see. This one was the one that I primed green. Yeah, I don't know. I'll wait until I'm finished with this one here, and then I'll kind of take a look. But the gray primer was the one that I found the paints cover over easily. This one actually wasn't too bad. This is the one I did that little technique that you taught me, which was the black primer, and then I sprayed a little bit of white on top. But I think what I might try on the next one is I might prime it gray and then do the white on top. I think I might like that. Space Wolves. My younger brother plays Space Wolves, or he paints them. All right, Jeremy. Yeah, the contrast, I know what you mean. Can't remember which one of these was the one that was gray. Let's see. I think it's this one. So let's see, this one, and this is the one that was white. They look almost identical to me. But again, I think there's a few things here. Number one is which you know, what's the end result? What's the final purpose for the miniatures? I'm mainly painting for just for tabletop quality so I can start playing the game. Between these ones, you like this one better? This one here? Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, because I'm just doing tabletop quality, they will be mostly looked at on the battlefields, you know, a couple feet away. So the subtle difference between, you know, the colors is probably not going to be very big. So I think I'll probably go with the option that is the easiest to paint and the fastest to paint. As long as the difference is not too big, but so far I think it's pretty similar. I'm curious about the idea of doing gray with white. And moving into a house, that's cool. Just wait for this yellow to dry so I can put one more layer. What the heck is this Space Marine doing here? I didn't even realize I put him down right there. It should be an orc, like this guy here. There, that's better. Well, bed is the most important. I would definitely start with the bed. But it's not a dark angel, so yeah, and just sleep on the floor, right? Mind you, with beds, it's not really that hard to set up a bed. It's usually just like a mattress that you throw on the floor, and that doesn't take too long. I mean, you don't have to build like a bed frame or anything, just something that you can pass out on. Besides, if you're going to be doing any streaming, you won't be getting any sleep anyways, so what do you need a bed for? welcome back, Jeremy. So Grendler, does that mean that you sleep with dwarves? What looks difficult about them? You mean as far as like painting them? Well, again, it depends. I mean, eventually you're gonna have to learn how to paint well anyway, so if you really like the way that the Space Wolves look, you might have a little bit of a different learning curve, but once you do get them painted, if you like Space Wolves, then you'll be happy with what you've painted. Whereas if you pick an army simply because you think it's going to be easy to paint, but you don't really like the way that they look, then after all that work that you put in, you're still not really going to be happy with what you've got, right? So it kind of depends. But I do know what you mean. The one thing with Space Wolves is that they actually have kind of like to me, they're just so gray, like everything's gray, and I don't know how easy it is to make them look good. Although I've seen some people that are really good painters that make Space Wolves look really good, but generally speaking, like if you look at this orc, I find that like this guy here, he's got a lot of detail, but there's a lot of like different parts. Like, you know, his face is green, and then his teeth are like a, you know, whatever, whiter color. Then for his eyes, they've got red, and I got a little bit of blue there. Then this part here is red. I got yellow here. You know, his pants are kind of a brown color, black. Then I got some skulls here. So, and then, you know, here I got yellow and red. The thing with that is when you have so many colors on a miniature, so many different like pieces to it and so many different colors. When you paint those colors, the miniature looks, I guess as you could say, it's easier to make it look good because the miniature has a lot of detail, a lot of different elements to it that make it interesting. But with, let's say you look at a Space Marine, I mean, this is pretty much just, you know, red. It's all red, and then, you know, the guy's bolter is like whatever, metallic color, and then these wings are like a white color. So you've got more or less only 3 colors to work with, right? So it's harder, I think it's harder to make him look good unless you start doing really cool, you know, shadows and blends and that kind of stuff. But with the Space Wolves, now you're dealing with a gray miniature with, you know, a gray or silver colored gun. So it's just like gray on gray on gray on gray. I don't know. I honestly don't know how people make them look good. So that's the one thing I would kind of consider if you're gonna pick them. Yep, that's true. You can paint Eldar any color. You can paint Space Marines any color you want to. Actually, Gretler, wasn't your first set Space Marines Space Wolves? Do you have any pics you could link? Because yours look pretty good. But then you're like a painting master, so... Were those your first models that you painted, or just Space Marines? Like, did you paint any other models before those Space Wolves? Like GW models? Or any tabletop models? Yeah, see what you did there with yours is you started adding a bunch of other elements. Like you got your shoulder pads. On one of them I see red and kind of a yellowish color. On your guns you put red. Yeah, you used yellow a lot and red to kind of bring out more of make them look a little bit more interesting. Man, those are some really nice looking Space Wolves. Compared to most of the ones I've seen out there, it's just like gray and gray and gray and gray. I really like how you did all the different contrasts. it's funny about fine detail because the first set of 40k miniatures that I actually painted was Tau, and the Tau don't really have a lot of fine details, at least not the ones that I bought. So I thought that would be easier, but it actually made it harder because when you have like flat surfaces and you're not a good painter, they just instantly look like crap. So like when I finished painting the Tau, I was not happy with the results. I was like, ah, man, I suck at this. And then I bought a set of I bought an Eldar set, and that one I found easier to make it look good. And probably the easiest ones to make look good, to be honest, have been Orks for me. Like, and it's so I'm not actually afraid of detail. I think I prefer detail because the more detail the model has, the easier it is to make it look good, even if you're not that good at painting. Which kind of sounds backwards, but that's just the way I think. Because I think that the more detail that the model has, yeah, you have to like switch colors more often to add to that detail, but it's almost like the detail does have to work for you. Yeah, I see what you mean. I never even realized that until you pointed that out, but I know what you mean. The gray color on the Space Wolves looks way better than this bluish tint. That's what I don't like, is that bluish tint. To me, just looks so dull. Like the way Grendler painted his, you know, he's got the yellows and the reds that kind of bring out the detail. But imagine if that gray color was like more gray, like that first picture you posted. I think it would look way better. My guess is that they probably did that because they didn't want to confuse people. They wanted to separate them from like the Grey Knights or something. Alright guys, I gotta run to the bathroom for a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. What did I miss? Dry brushing? Yeah, I can do some dry brushing. I'll do a little bit dry brushing on this guy right here. Not that I'm that good at it, but where is my dry brush? I'll just use this one. So basically for dry brushing, and I just use a towel, like a paper towel. Oh, hold on, let me switch cameras here. So I use like a paper towel, and I just get some paint on the brush, and basically I just keep wiping it off until there's almost no paint at all. Like, you see how I'm, like, when I wipe it on the towel, so let me see, I don't know, it might be a little bit too bright on the camera, but it basically doesn't leave any paint almost. And then you just do that. The biggest mistake, you pretty much, if you don't have a lot of paint on there, like you shouldn't, then you'll have to like keep going over it for the paint to actually start appearing. And you can kind of see that shoulder. You probably see it better here on this one, so I'm going to do this little part here where his elbow is. So I'm just going to keep going like that, and it starts to deposit just a little bit of paint. See it there? It's just starting to highlight it a bit. I'll do more on his hands here. Thanks for the follow, Call Me Chaz. So I'm doing it right here on this. You can kind of see the fingers. Not sure if you can kind of see how it highlights the here, let me point to it with the brush. See this, like those lines across where his fingers are, how they're a little bit of a brighter green now? That's where the dry brushing kind of highlighted that. I'll do some on his head here too. It's not really a paint waster. I put too much paint on, that's probably why. You basically just need a tiny little bit of paint. The biggest mistake I made in the beginning was I didn't get the paint off enough. I thought, oh, there should be some paint, but it shouldn't really be, like, see how it's leaving absolutely nothing on the paper towel? Well, it will leave some on the model if you just keep going over it, because I'm pushing a little bit harder as well. And it'll just kind of hit those peaks, any parts in the model that are raised, and it'll deposit some of that brighter colored paint. Yeah, it depends. It depends what your. I think with all this stuff, it's like it all depends what your. What's the end result that you're going after with the model, and what are you painting it for? If you're just painting it so you can have a decent looking model, without spending 50 hours on painting one model, using the basic techniques that GW teaches, like priming, then base color, then just doing a wash on and dry brushing, you can make models look pretty good for tabletop quality. But if you want to paint some models that you're gonna go on Facebook and show off to other painters, especially people that are better at painting than you are, and you want them to look really good, then yeah, some people might kind of hate on you for using dry brushing. Personally, I'm not afraid to use it. I don't care, because these miniatures I'm painting just for tabletop ready, and dry brushing is faster than sitting there and layering everything or highlighting everything with a detail brush. But if I was gonna paint something, for commission, or if I was like for a competition or something, or some model that I bought that I really wanted to make it look good, then yeah, I wouldn't do dry brushing. I'd probably stay away from it unless you're talking about like the base or rocks or something. Everyone's got different opinions on it though. One thing I've learned, and this is just my perspective on it, is I kind of tend not to listen to people's like opinions on techniques or things without testing them out for myself and seeing what I like. Because I mean, there's people out there who just absolutely bash airbrushing, and they're like, oh, airbrushing sucks, it's, you know, it's not even considered painting, it's like cheating or whatever. And then there's people who love to use an airbrush, right? And everyone's got an opinion. So it's like there's people out there who have done really good paint jobs and they use dry brushing and you wouldn't even really know it, or you wouldn't really notice it and go, oh, that looks like crap, just because it's dry brushed. And I think it's partly just learning what works for you. And I mean, like, I've been to Games Workshop stores where they have like armies on display, and when you look at the entire army, it just looks amazing. And they just did dry brushing on them, and I think they look pretty good. Now, it's not going to win any competitions, I don't think, but as far as a good-looking army, I think they still look good. Thanks, Titan. Yeah, I'm mostly focusing on terrain on my store, but I do have some miniatures up there. But terrain is my main focus. I'm actually just finishing or working on the production of a Kickstarter that I did. I'm going to do a little bit of where did I put that brush? Do a little bit of dry brushing on this. Yep, it's mostly MDF. Some of it has, I use a little bit of acrylic in some situations where it's where it makes sense to use it, but acrylic's expensive, so yeah, I can dig that up in a second. I think if you go to my store, if you're on my store, which is basically just TabletopGamer.com, on the home page, I have like these rotating banners at the top, like the big huge graphic at the top, and their link to the Kickstarter, I believe, is one of those banners, unless I removed it, but I think it's still up there. See, I'm doing a little bit of dry brushing on this metal plate that he has here. Let's see if... See, like, to me, I don't know, I don't think that looks bad. It just brings a little bit of a different, it's hard to tell on the camera though, but it It's like you get a couple different tones of the metal, which I think makes it look more realistic. I'm going to do some on this axe here too. Right now it's kind of like a flat color because of the wash that I did on it. But then when I do the dry brushing on it, it kind of starts to bring out some of the detail more. Did you find that link to the Kickstarter? Excuse me. Cool, cool. Yeah, so I'm just in the production process right now for that Kickstarter, getting everything made up for my backers, and then as soon as the Kickstarter is completed, like I get everything shipped out, then I'll be putting that terrain up on my actual website on the store for sale. Yeah, Grandler's been quieter. He probably glued his fingers together. No, we were just talking. So Grandler, I don't do commissions or anything like that, but do you find that since you started streaming, the streaming has helped you get more commissions, or even just people seeing you doing the work has gotten you more business, or just having them? Because I would imagine people kind of once they see you actually painting it, I would imagine they probably kind of have an awakening of like, holy smokes, that's a lot of work that he's putting into this. Is that what you found? That people understand the process better and are like more willing to pay for your work when they can see what you're doing? Yeah, that's what I figured. I don't do commission work or anything like that, but I suck too much at painting to do that, nor would I have the time to do it. But if I was doing commission painting, I'd definitely be streaming. I think it's a perfect marketing platform because it can get you clients, for one. And secondly, I think also for the clients that you already do have, I think if they can actually see you spending, hours and hours on their commission, when it comes time to pay for it, I think they better understand the amount of work that goes into painting that many. Because, I would imagine most people that hire somebody to do a commission for them, they probably don't spend that much time painting. They're probably, kind of suck at painting, or they just paint really quickly. So they might not appreciate how much time it takes to paint something to a professional level. Yeah, sure, Titan. Go ahead. Link some of his. I'd like to check out his terrain stuff. All right. So I did a little bit of dry brushing on this guy, right there, on this axe here, on this gun, just to kind of bring out a little bit more of the highlights. I know it's hard to see because of the reflection from the light. It's a little bit hard to see it, but I think on the metals it doesn't really look chalky. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I gotta do a quick wash on this guy. Wow, that's some amazing terrain there. Holy smokes. Yeah, your buddy definitely knows what he's doing. This stuff looks awesome. So he mostly, like some of the stuff I recognize from other companies that make terrain. So does he mostly just buy the terrain from like the different manufacturers and then kind of mod it up a bit and paint it? What kind of boxing do you train in? Like traditional boxing or kickboxing or? No kicking, eh? I guess dwarves don't kick. Maybe their legs are too short? Sous Chef, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. I think pretty much everybody here except for Grandler should be sleeping. So I think we're all in the same boat. Are you, you're on East Coast time, right? So it's only like what, 5:30? No, 5:50 in the morning? Or is it 6:50? 5:50, I think, right? I believe you guys are 3 hours ahead of us. Seven 17 p.m. What time zone is that? $5.50, but who's counting? Yeah. 5:50, so you know the McDonald's breakfast drive-thru is pretty much open. You can go for a ride and go pick up a nice breakfast for yourself. Oh, you're in Australia? Titan Fire? That's cool. Texas is cool. I was at the Texas airport last year, traveling to some event. And it was really cool. We had brisket, and it was actually really good, even though it was one of those, you know, cheap little airport things, but it was actually really good. All right, Sous Chef, have a good couple hours of sleep. Yep, Texans no barbecue, that's for sure. This guy's green base is really bugging me, so I'm gonna paint that black.
It's all I wanna do. Believe it's all I wanna do.
How's your internet there in Australia? I remember back in the days when I was playing World of Warcraft for a while there. There were some people that were in Australia and they were always complaining the internet was just really expensive and hard to get high-speed internet. Yeah, it's kind of weird, like people were complaining about that it's like ridiculous how crappy the internet there was compared to like the rest of the world. Well, it's good to hear that it's improved. Because that would drive me nuts. I guess a lot of that stuff is subsidized by governments. And some governments, you know, they invest a lot of money into internet infrastructure and subsidizing companies. And other governments, I guess, do, you know, focus or put their money towards something else. Alright, Grandler, thanks for popping by, and we'll see you next time. Oh, so it's one of those situations. You got one company that has like a monopoly almost, and then no real competition in the mix, so the consumers don't have a lot of choice, which means that the company can get away with crappy service and crappy internet because There's no one to compete against them. By Go, do you mean Pokemon? Am I tired? A little bit. It's like 3 in the morning. Why do I sound tired? That's cool. Yeah, we're kind of lucky here in Canada, or at least here on the west coast of Canada. We have a few companies all competing together, so we have our internet speeds are pretty good. Yeah. You guys, no bears, but you have kangaroos instead, right? Giant spiders. Snakes. And about 150 other weird insects and creatures that can kill you. Yeah, Australia's cool. That's one country I'd like to visit one day. Everyone that I've ever met from Australia has always been really laid back and just chill and super nice. You know, they don't seem to take life too seriously, just nobody's died of a spider bite for 20 plus years. Do you guys have like a counter? Like a little sign that says number of days since last spider death? And every day just kind of gets incremented by one? I don't think it's so much the fact that people die from the thing. I think it's just not being used to seeing spiders or insects of that size. When you're not used to it, it just scares the crap out of you. Just seeing them, never mind being bitten by one. I remember when we went to when I went to Arizona. I was on a trip in Arizona, and we were just standing outside. It was so hot. And I remember standing outside in the parking lot, and all of a sudden I heard this weird noise that seriously sounded like a helicopter, like a small little helicopter flying by or something. I'm like, what in the world is that noise? And it was a giant beetle that was flying by, and this thing was massive, and the noise that it made was just so weird. I've never seen a beetle that big before, and it just flew by. Didn't seem to bother anybody there from local, but it scared the crap out of me at first because it's like I just didn't know what the heck it was. It was like a flying helicopter insect. It was just this black thing flying by, and it sounded like a little mini helicopter. That sounds like a Necron spider. Black with green. Hey Jeremy, welcome back. Oh my god, why did I click on that link? It's a horrible looking spider. Why did you have to catch it? Were you scared of breaking that 20-year no dying streak?
Make the ground shake.
Natrin11, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. Oh, that's cool, man. So you're like an insect expert. Hey there, Starlight. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing well. Just finishing up some orcs I've been painting. In your mailbox, eh?
Make the ground shake.
Hey there, Bitwars. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. Orks equals insta-follow, eh? Awesome. So I take it you're an Ork player? Moths are amazing. They're crazy. The way that they can like disguise themselves. Holy crap. Dude, that is not a moth, that's like a bird. That's insane. That's like a dinosaur moth. See, it's stuff like that which scares people from going to Australia. If I saw a moth like that, I'd freaking run. It's like a bat. So what is your Imperial Guard army consist of? Oh nice, you play all the goodies. Yeah, they can't hurt you, but you can hurt yourself by being scared when one flies towards you and then you jump to save your life and end up hurting yourself, smashing into something. Do they actually, do they have the ability to change color? Because I've seen some moths around my place that like, they like blended to the walls. Like whatever the color the wall was, the moth was that color. It was so weird. Cool, man. Yeah, I have the Imperial Guard and Tyrannus are the two armies I have no models from, but I always look at them at the store and it's like, I kind of want to buy it. I want to buy it, but then I stop myself because I don't want to start yet another army. But I think one of those days I'm going to go to the store and I won't be able to resist. The tanks look awesome. Beetles are cool, yeah. Also, you started with Eldar and then moved to Imperial Guard. $20, holy smokes. So you are an expert. How do you like painting orcs? Yeah, the War Boss is an awesome model. I had a lot of fun painting it too. They're fun. I don't know. I like painting orcs. It's funny, when I first was looking into orcs and I was looking at the names and I saw Kadunda. Welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. When I first was learning about orcs and I was looking at, you know, they had the boys and then they had the knobs. My first thought was I thought that knobs were like, I don't know, like dumbasses. That's why they called them knobs. I'm like, so I thought, like, on a hierarchy scale, I thought that boys were higher than knobs. And then later on I found out, oh wait, knobs means like nobility, shortened version of like nobles or whatever. Like, oh, that's what they mean by knobs. I thought they meant like knobs being, you know, slightly even dumber than the average orc. I still think it's a funny name. Alright, this one. This one. Oh, you didn't know that? What did you think it was? Did you think that it meant like dumbasses like I did? Yeah, I read that in the codex that knobs are nobles. Orc nobles. That's why they're bigger and stronger and cost more points. Not at all, bit worse. Go ahead. Post some links. I'd love to check out some of the minis you painted. Oh, nice. Yeah, I see you got some blue in there. I like the dude on the left with the what looks like a really spiky weapon. Yeah, those are cool. Is that weapon a standard weapon, or did you modify that? Ooh, nice dwarves. The one thing I love about dwarves is the mohawks. I think the mohawks are awesome. Oh, you found it in a bits box. Yeah, because I just built a whole bunch of orks and I don't remember seeing that that specific weapon. Yeah, dwarves are mini miniatures. Do you did you like painting your orcs better than the Eldar or the the other army? Like, which one do you find the most fun to paint so far? Just gonna add a little bit of this Balthazar gold on these little tips of their brass knuckle thing, or what I perceive to be brass knuckles. Make it look like it's brass knuckles. Just a subtle brass knuckle type looking thing. And what color scheme do you have for your Eldar? My sister just started an Eldar army recently. Her first Warhammer 40k army. Or actually her first really any kind of miniature army. Well, that's cool. Gray and fiery orange. Do you have any pics of those? Alright guys, I'm gonna have to run in a few minutes here. Gotta get a little bit of sleep before tomorrow. That's cool. So what's your standard scheme for the non-character models? Okay, that's cool.
Sunlight is not enough. We could burn like a flame through the atmosphere. Yeah. Starlight, it's calling us. Leave the ghosts of our past in the stratosphere. Oh yeah, yeah, it's calling us.
Alright, so we'll have a quick look at the orcs. Thanks, bit worse. My goal for these guys is basically just to get them tabletop ready. Gotta make sure I get all these closed up. Just to get them tabletop ready. So I'm not putting too much detail into them. But the other thing I was trying to figure out with these is, as far as priming is concerned, I primed them different colors, and I wanted to see if there's a difference in the final look. Like this one here was primed with green primer, as you can see at the bottom. This one was, I believe this one was white. As far as I can tell, they pretty much look identical. This one here was prime black. And this one was primed gray. See, the thing with priming them green is it's like if I miss a tiny little detail, like right there, I don't know if you guys can see, that corner has a little bit of green shining through. Same thing at the top of this axe here. If that was a black primer, you wouldn't even notice that. So I'm gonna have to fix that because it's gonna drive me nuts. I use a spray primer. And I just happen to have a bunch of different colored primers, and I wanted to test and see what if there's a difference, and what the difference is if there is a difference. And I think after all that testing, I think I'm gonna stick with gray primer, either gray or black. And then I'll probably do a little bit of spray of white on top. But I'm definitely not going to be using this green one anymore. I don't like it. Unless it's for like a larger model that has a lot of green or something. But for these smaller miniatures, it seems like the green just kind of bleeds through in certain areas that you don't want it to. Like see right there on his shoe, all that green there. Ah, it's annoying. Hey there, Bobby Jojo. Welcome to the stream, and thanks for the follow. Oh yeah, I can see your elder there. Very cool. I like how some of your orcs have blue pants there. Those look pretty cool too. Alright, one more fix and then I really gotta go to bed. Fix that green. Okay, good enough for that one. Thanks, Real Shadow. I'll definitely try to get some good sleep. I got a bunch of stuff to do for my Kickstarter tomorrow. And then hopefully if I get enough work done, I should be able to come back on and do a little bit more streaming tomorrow night. I'm trying to do as much streaming as I can, because if I'm streaming, it means I'm painting, and the only way I'm gonna get these orcs, all the orcs done that I've started, is if I do a lot of painting. So there we go, there's the 5 bad boys. Now that I kind of have a basic idea of how I want them to look, I can grab the rest of them. I'll probably prime the rest of my orcs tomorrow during the day sometime, so that they're ready for painting. All-nighters are fun once in a while, but you also need to get some sleep once in a while too. Thanks, Bitworse. Looking forward to seeing you back on the stream. I want to see what the rest of your orcs are going to look like. Do I use a lamp with zoom? Nope. I just use regular lamps. I don't use like a magnifying glass or anything. Sleep deprivation for the win. Nice, yeah, for sure. Pop by and show me the Warlord. I'd love to check that out. It's funny, I'm always leaning over to read the chat, and you'd think that I'd be like smart enough to move my window over right in front of me so that I don't have to. There we go. I'm still such a streaming noob. It's like, duh, why would I put the chat window all the way on the other side? Now I can actually see it right in front of me. Yeah, if you can get that out, take some pics, for sure, pop by and show us some pictures. I'd love to see them. I don't know, I'm not sure who's on right now. Usually I'm the night owl. Everyone that I follow is already gone to bed by the time I start streaming. Let's see, let's take a look and see who's on. There's a couple of people painting minis. I have no idea who they are, but I wonder if I can host them. I have absolutely no idea how to even do that. I'm a total noob at this. How the heck do I host somebody? Yeah, during the night is the only time I can ever stream. Well, at least for now. So I rely on the company of night owls, like you guys, or people in totally different time zones where it's actually daytime right now. How do you host somebody? I'll have to learn how to do hosting another night, guys. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anybody else on. You guys can check out, look through some of the categories in the creative section. Maybe somebody else you'll find. Alright, have a good night, guys. I am out of here. I'm gonna go get some sleep so I can paint some orcs tomorrow. Well, thanks for the follow, Dirty Burger 88. I'll wait for Borat to stop dancing and then I'm out of here. Very nice. Alright guys, good night.